All right, here's your video that goes along with tonight's homework. Real quick, let's review powers of 10. When we talk about powers of 10, we know we have that 10 and we have that power, which is the exponent. Let's go with 3. That 3 exponent tells us that we're going to multiply the base by itself 3 times, which is 10 times 10 times 10. We know that that exponent is also going to tell us how many zeros need to be in our answer. In this case, 3. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. And I see that 10 to the third power is the same thing as the number 1,000. You guys have been doing really well with this in class. So let's move on to the next piece of the standard. We also want to know what happens if we were to multiply a number, let's say 5, by a power of 10. In this case, we'll do 10 to the third. When we're doing this, all we're really doing is we're changing the value of this 5. Remember when we talked about place value and we said every time we move to the left, our number gets bigger by 10. So that's all we're doing here, is we're increasing the place value of this 5. We know that 5 times 10 to the third is the same thing as 5 times 1,000, because 10 to the third equals 1,000. Using our trick, we can cover up those zeros. We just multiply 5 times 1 equals 5, and then add those zeros onto the end to get 5,000. So 5 times 10 to the third would also equal 5,000. Now, remember that trick we talked about today. That 3 tells us about the zeros. So when we look in our answer, you'll see that we have 3 zeros. So what if we had 5 times 10 to the fourth power? You got it. That 4 means there's going to be 4 zeros in our answer. So we bring over that 5 and we just put on 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 times 10 to the fourth power is 50,000. That seems like a pretty simple trick, right? Let's try it on an even bigger number. What if I had the number 253 and I wanted to multiply that by 10 to the third? Well, this might be a tougher problem, right? Not if we remember that trick. Remember, the 3 tells us how many zeros we need to add on to our answer. So all we do is bring over our number, 253, and then we add on those 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. And so we see that 253 times 10 to the third equals 253,000. All we did was we increased the value of 253 3 times. Let's try another one. What about 1,562 times 10 to the fourth? It's going to be a big number, isn't it? But we can do it if we use our trick. We bring over our number, 1562, and then we add on those 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And so we see that 1,562 times 10 to the fourth equals 15,620,000. All right? So that's just a quick review of powers of 10 in multiplication. Now, for those of you watching, I'm giving you a special treat by showing you something I haven't yet taught in class, but I think you'll be able to get pretty quickly. If we took a number, let's say 253, and we multiplied it by 10 to the second power, using our trick, we know that that would be 2 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 25,300. So what do you think would happen if we took 25,300 and we divided it by 10 to the second power? We talked about this in class with some groups. If we multiplied 10 to the second power to get 25,300, then if we divide 25,300 by 10 to the second power, we would get 253 because it's a fact family. Now, Did you notice that those 2 zeros disappeared? That's right. When we divide, we take away those zeros. Just like when we multiply, we add the zeros on. So you want to try one on your own? Tell you what, if you try this problem on the side of your homework somewhere, and I see it, you'll get a special treat. So write this problem on the side of your homework somewhere. So let's find your homework. Oh, here it is. All right, how about right down here at the bottom? Write this problem, try it out, and let's see what you get. If we had the number, 352,000, and I wanted to divide that by 10 to the third, what would your answer be? Are you trying to solve it? Don't wait for me to tell you the answer. Try it on your own. See if you can get it. Okay, let's talk. When we talked about dividing by a power of 10, we talked about taking away those zeros. So we have to take away 3 zeros. Oh, look, that's just the number 352. And that would be our answer. I hope you have this written in your homework. I'll be looking for it tomorrow. Speaking of homework, let's go over it. So, at this point, you should have already completed your homework. And now all you're doing is checking it with me. All right, number 1, write in exponent form and in word form. So let's look at the first one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. The number 10 has been multiplied by itself 7 times. So we know that the exponent of that would just be 7. 10 to the 7th power. All right, and then it wants it in word form. So you could really have written 2 different things here, depending on if you read up here or not. If you wrote 10 to the 7th power, you would be correct. However, if you went ahead and solved it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you got 10 million, I would take that too. So either one, 10 million or 10 to the 7th power, I will take. Okay? Let's look at number 2. 1, 2, 3 tens would give us 10 to the 3rd power. In word form, that's 10 to the 3rd power. Or, if you solved it out, 1, 2, 3, that would be 1,000. So either one of those will work. All right, and number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 to the 5th power. Pretty easy, huh? 10 to the 5th power, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be 100,000. All right? Okay, let's go down here where it says to find the value. If it wants the value, that means it wants the number written in standard form. So 10 to the 4th means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Or we can use our trick. We know that 4 means I need 4 zeros and my 1. 10,000. Number 5 is an equation. 2 times 10 to the 3rd. So this is the same thing as 2 times 10 times 10 times 10. But if I use my trick, because I'm working smarter, not harder, I know that 3 means there needs to be 3 zeros, and I just bring my 2 down. So 2 times 10 to the third is 2,000. Did you get it right? Hope so. And the last one, 6 times 10 squared. Well, that tells me I need 2 zeros, and I bring that 6 down. It's 600. All right, let's turn it over to the back. Number 1, a Coast Guard ship is responsible for searching an area that is 5,000 square miles, which shows 5,000 as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10. So we're looking for 5,000. I'm going to use my scratch paper to show some work. I hope you did this too. All right, I see that there are 3 zeros. So I know that 3 zeros is the same thing as 10 to the third. And I see that there's a 5 at the beginning. So I know that this has to be an equation where I would have 5 times 10 to the third. This is the answer that I'm going to be looking for over here. It's always a smart idea to get your answer before looking at the answer choices. 5 times 10 to the third. Well, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. Yes, that one looks like my answer. But just to make sure, yep, that one's not the one I want. Must be C. Number 2. Martin is going mountain climbing at Snowmass Mountain in Colorado. He looked up the height of the mountain and found it to be about 14 times 10 to the third feet high. What is the height of Snowmass Mountain written as a whole number? There are 2 things I'm going to underline here. I'm going to underline the information, and then I'm also going to underline whole number, because that's what my answer should be in. So I have 14 times 10 to the third. I know that 3 tells me that my answer needs to have 3 zeros. And then I know that I just need to bring down my 14. So I'm looking for the number 14,000. That's not 14,000. That's not 14,000. That's 14,000. But just to make sure, not 14,000. You know, I'm not feeling very sure about this. I need to go back and check my work. 10 to the third. That means 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. 14. Brought down my 14. Yep, that's got to be right. It's got to be the answer C. I hope you recheck your work before you check your answers with me. All right, let's look at number 3. Patel hopes to be one of the first fans to get into the stadium for the baseball game because the first 30,000 fans will receive a baseball cap, which shows 30,000 as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10. All right, I'm looking for this number written as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10. Okay, so 30,000 has 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros in it. So I know that that's the same as 10 to the 4th power. I see the 3 here, so I know it's an equation. 3 times 10 to the 4th power. This is what I'm looking for. No, no, no. 3 times 10 to the 4th, 3 times 10 to the 4th. Yes, this is my answer. I know it's my answer because I solved it out and found the answer before I ever looked at the questions, at the answers. All right, number 4. Trisha is writing a report about Guam for social studies. She looked up the population of Guam and found it to be about 18 times 10 to the 4th power. What is the population of Guam written as a whole number? 2 things to underline here. The information they give me and that I'm looking for a whole number in my answer. All right, 18 times 10 to the 4th. We're getting pretty good at this now, aren't we? That 4 tells me I need 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all I do is bring down that 18. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3. So I'm looking for the number 180,000. Well, that's 180,000. That one's not, that one's not, that one's not. This has got to be my answer. Let me go ahead and double check it just to make sure I wrote it correctly. 10 to the 4th means 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. I bring down my 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that one's definitely the right answer. It's always a good idea to go back and double check. All right, down here at the bottom. The moon is about 240,000 miles from Earth. What is this distance written as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10? There's my information. Here's what they want me to write my answer in. Okay, I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros means 10 to the 4th power. I see 24 in front of it, so I know it's an equation. 24 times 10 to the 4th. I know that this is right because this looks very similar to what I saw up here when they talked about written as a whole, a whole number multiplied by a power of 10. All right. Oops, you can't even see up there. All right, number 6. The sun is about 93 times 10 to the 6th miles from Earth. Whew. What is this distance written as a whole number? I'm writing it as a whole number. Here's my information. All right. So I've got 10 to the 6th. That 6 tells me 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 93 times means I got to bring 93 down here at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. Whoa, that's 93 million miles. Don't forget your miles there on the end. All right, so we went over this homework. I hope that if you are having any questions, you now understand it a little better. But if not, circle the one that was giving you trouble so that we can talk about it in class tomorrow. All right? Don't forget, tomorrow we're also having a short quiz on place value and powers of 10. So go back over your notes in your math journal to review and study. All righty. You're done. You've checked your homework, so good job. That's a thumbs up. I'll see you in class tomorrow, guys. Bye.